Hello, everyone, and welcome to the tavern. Time to talk about another episode of G-Quuuuux. I'll be honest here, really enjoying the show thus far. I'm surprised just how well the show is done, and even little things you notice upon second viewings and discussions that really allow you to appreciate what this show is and let you know that the staff behind the show actually cares about the show, unlike, say, the previous major Gundam series. And because of that, this is going to be a short intro because I really want to get into discussing this episode. So, without further ado, let's break down episode 3 of G-Quuuuux. Our story begins with Xavier being basically sentenced for his crimes, and we cut to the crew of the ship being like, what do we do about him? Also, what happened to the G-Quuuuux? We need to get the G-Quuuuux back. And they're like, no, we need to get the pilot back and then worry about the G-Quuuuux. What's more important, the man or the machine? Nice little moment there. We then cut to Cell Phone Girl, and she's talking to her mom about cram school, and this leads into her taking a bath and thinking about her time with the clan battle crew and how she kind of volunteers to be a member of the team, but now she's not sure if she should or not. And what's interesting about this is that it didn't need to be a bath sequence. This could have been her thinking about this while looking out the window. This could have been a sequence of her just laying on her bed and kind of staring at the ceiling, your traditional kind of thing. But they went with the bath because the way the light is sparkling off the water is a representation of how the light sparkles when new type powers activate, which she will bring up the Kira Kira stuff multiple times in this episode, and this is just building that visual metaphor. Later on, a character will even refer to it as being like water. So it's clear that there was a lot of effort put into really bringing up the themes with just little visual touches like that. The Zeon crew decides to just enter the colony of their ship and get their pilot back. Meanwhile, we see the courier girl go and get another task. Then we cut to Cell Phone Girl at school, just being overly focused on the Red Gundam and about the clan battle stuff, to a point that she ends up ditching class early. She finds some graffiti and its artist that has the little new type sparkle type stuff done on it, the Kira Kiras. That boy is named Shuji. They have a little conversation, and then Courier Girl shows up and says, "You got the money? Because I got the thing." And accidentally, he drops his money, it falls down into the sewer, and through a relatively convoluted moment, Machu, Cell Phone Girl, ends up basically saying, hey, I'll team up with this Shuji guy, we'll do a clan battle, we'll make cash monies, we'll buy the knick-knack, and fix my cell phone, and everyone's problems will be solved. Reluctantly, the courier girl agrees to this, though she thinks both of them are complete idiots who will totally lose. Shuji then opens up the sewer lid, leads them into the sewers, and shows them that he does have his own mobile suit, the Red Gundam. We then go and see the Zeon crew meet with Councilman Cameron, nice little reference to the original series, and they get Xavier back. Xavier and Chala Bull end up talking for a bit about how a civilian stole the G-Quuuuux and was able to use the Omega Saikamu, and Chalia Bull is not angry so much as very curious about this whole situation. We then cut to the team doing prep work for the clan battle. The general rules of the clan battle are explained, with the most important one being you win when your opponent's head is destroyed, which is from G Gundam. Nice little reference there. Meanwhile, we find out that Chalia Bull and Xavier are in a bar drinking, because at this point, why not? And discover on the TV, they're showing a clan battle. Chala is incredibly interested because he wants to see what the pilot is capable of, and notices how the clan battles use the MAV strategy, which he and Char developed. This is essentially a strategy where one person is moving forward to kind of draw aggro and to try to get your opponent to make themselves invisible, because in a Minovsky particle area, you only have visual abilities with which to fight, because Minovsky particles end up causing issues for electronic devices and for communications. And the partner serves as the main damage dealer, trying to take out enemies as they come after the main target. That was a core strategy that me and a friend used in college while playing various FPS games. Although usually it came down to me getting horribly killed in the process. But if we got a win's a win. Anyhow, the battle begins, and we see that Machu is not particularly talented as a mobile suit pilot. She even makes comment earlier in the episode to the fact that the machine just kind of moved with her mind, not so much something in terms of her own personal skill. And a lot of it was just kind of reacting to stuff. And in this time, we see her doing a lot of dodging, although she does take a few hits in the process. Shuji barely shows up to do much in there other than to encourage her in the fight. It seems as if Shuji is also just trying to gauge what her abilities are. The enemy uses a flash grenade, which is the key moment because it shuts off her ability to see. It forces Machu to use her mind and thus allowing her to unlock some of her new type-ish powers. She ends up finding her Heat Hawk, charging in, and for a nice little victory there. It was an interesting battle for a lot of reasons, but what I found most interesting is the fact that this could have been an easy win with Shuji just using the bits from the Red Gundam to just take out the enemies immediately, and instead he decided to let Machu go and test her own skills. He is clearly a new type. He's clearly a little bit damaged of a new type, which means he may have been a person who was experimented on at the Flanagan Institute or something along those lines, and he wants to see what her abilities truly are. Is my best guess, as he doesn't actually say why he held back for the majority of that battle. Hopefully that'll be explored in the next episode. Overall, the story is really good. We get a lot of world building stuff. We have little things like a Mav, more or less explained, and we see our character trying to deal with the fact that, yeah, I could die if I go into this clan battle, but I'm also a hot-blooded hero type, and I kind of want to do it. And I like that. I like the character being unsure and finding a reason, albeit a bit silly of a reason, to go and do it anyways, to go and be the hero the story needed her to be. It's a fun little episode, and I'll be honest here, if we just get a couple episodes of clan battles, I'm probably going to be fine with that, as long as the action remains at this level, and the challenges our heroes face grow with every single match. So yes, I quite enjoyed the story this time around. But let's see if the characters can hold up to this level of quality. We do have a few characters to talk about this time around, which is kind of nice. First, we have Machu. It is nice that we not only got her name this episode, but we also got a kind of a look into her personality. She's definitely someone who jumps into things without thinking, but she's also someone who regrets her choices sometimes. She's also not entirely sure that the choice she is making is the right choice. She isn't some supernaturally talented mobile suit pilot. She just is kind of winging it and improving her skills as she goes. Always nice. And she seems to generally get along with everyone she's around, though she's wondering if going to cram school is really valuable for what her life could end up being. It would have been nice to get a little bit more of her home life, to get an idea of like what her mom wants for her to do, or even what her mom's job even is, because her mom ends up leaving partway through the scene because she got called off to work. But at least we got to know that Machu is a bit more of a deeper character than she first appeared. Then we have Shuji. He's off. And I love that. The fact that he talks to his Gundam, the fact that he's a little bit detached from reality, mixed with the fact that he very much seems to be a new type who is aware of being a new type and notices other new types, clearly shows that there's something deeper and a more interesting backstory behind him. In addition to that, he has the Red Gundam, which you're like, wait, how'd he get that? What it really brought up for me was the fact that he creates a lot of questions, but not in a whole, what? But in more of a whole like, ooh, I want to know, I want to know, I want to know, tell me. That impatience, that desire to see more stories and to learn more about these characters, which is really nice because that means there's something else below this surface layer, and we're going to get that, hopefully. Chalia Bull shows a more stronger side of himself as he takes command and is like, yeah, we're just going to go into the colony and get our guy back. And I like that. It's not some sort of, should we, shouldn't we? No, decisive. We're doing it. Shows compassion to Xavier, and I do like that. And I like the fact that even when he sees the stolen G-Quuuuux, he's not like, we need to get it back. He's like, oh, what's this pilot's backstory? How can they pilot this unit so well? Even clearly an amateur, you still see that they're dodging attacks. And I like that. I like the fact that we're seeing this thoughtful side to him, but we're also seeing a stronger side to him as well. So hopefully we can get more Chalia Bull as the story continues. In terms of minor characters, we have Courier Girl, Mion. Yeah, they said her name in this episode. She's very snarky and seems to be kind of like a whatever, and that makes her kind of fun. Though there's still not much to her character, and I'm not sure how big of a role she's going to have once the events kind of wrap up with this piece of the story. Xavier also falls in that same category of like, well, there could be something interesting with this character, but right now he's just kind of floating around. While I am curious what they're going to do with the former pilot of the G-Quuuuux, they've given him nothing to do and nothing to really work with. He's just kind of there. And that's rather unfortunate because in the first episode, I was thinking they were going to do something interesting with him. There's still time to do something interesting with him, but I'm wondering if he's just going to fade into the background. Last, we have the Pomeranians. That's the name of our team, which means someone who made this series really loves that kind of dog. Frankly, most of the characters don't seem to have personality within the group. There's the one bitchy mech pilot who, great. And then we have Commander Lady, and there's just not enough there for me to care about any of them. If it wasn't for a Haro with a beanie, I'm not entirely certain I would really care about the team at all. And it's so sad that I care because their mascot is a Haro with a beanie. Still, we have time to maybe explore this team if we're going to do more clan battles, which probably would be a good thing because if I'm supposed to care about the team, you got to make me care about the team. Characters is still a problem with this show. It's not terrible. No character is innately bad. It's more a problem of just feeling like we're here, now we're here, now we're here, now we're here. And we're not getting the time to get to know our characters really deeply outside of Machu, who is our lead, so we better get to know her deeply. Maybe we can get some of these other characters to get a focus episode or something eventually in order to kind of get to know them better. I'm worried that characters are always going to be a little bit shallow for the entire show, but if we're lucky, that won't happen. All right, let's discuss the aesthetics. The aesthetics of the show remain relatively strong. There isn't much for me to say about the audio, primarily because it's very not noticeable, though there was this annoying electronic noise thing when they met Shuji. I don't know if it was supposed to be someone's cell phone, I don't know if it's some sort of device, or if it was part of the background music, but it was there and it kept irritating me, which, don't do that. In addition to that, I do like that heavy drum beat when they're about to start the Gundam battle, primarily because it gets you revved up and gets that whole tribal oh yeah, bum, 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 let's go! Which is what I said in episode 1 when they use the same song. So yeah, I feel like every time we're gonna get a fight and they play that song, I'm gonna get hyped up, which is a good thing. Then we have a J-pop type song that ends up playing while the new type powers activate. I thought the song was pretty good too. Visuals are generally strong. There's a lot of good usage of shadows to create kind of a nice little atmosphere and mood. The fact that they're in the sewer and they're using a cell phone light, it looks like the place is lit by a cell phone. It doesn't look like it's super bright or anything like that. It doesn't feel like there's always a spotlight on every character so you can see their clothes and their look completely as if they're being hit with bright lights at all times, which from Mercury. Instead, we have shading being used to sometimes cover up part of the face or cover up part of the clothes to create a sense of mystery. When the courier goes and gets her next mission, it's very dark. It looks very seedy. When the Zeon soldiers come in to discuss with Cameron about the release of Xavier, they have this dark look to it, that the people are being shadowed and they're being just done in a way that makes it look clandestine. Like this is kind of a shady meeting. The government isn't supposed to just give the Zeons what they want, but we're going to do it anyways. I love that. It's such a good use of color and shadow and the language of film. Thank you, G-Quuuuux, for not sucking. I do find it funny that according to the show, the G-Quuuuux was a filler name, meaning it wasn't the intended name of the mobile suit. And odds are when it gets its upgrade at the end of the show, it'll probably get its proper name, that it really feels like a meta line. Like G-Quuuuux was just kind of their filler name, and they're like, we'll come up with a cool name for the mobile suit. And by the time they got to this point in production, they're like, we'll just stick with G-Quuuuux, it's fine. Finally, the battle. The battle is really, really well done. Fluid movements of the machines, the usage of the weapons, follow the action, though it's fast and intense. And most of the time, our protagonist isn't even fighting back. It's just dodge, dodge, dodge. Oh god, oh god, oh god, I'm being shot at. And I very much liked how that was handled. The Heat Hawk kind of getting lost and then getting grabbed again and then being brought in for the... Oh, wonderful. The usage of the flash grenade, how it just... So it takes over everything, and how the eyes on Machu's design change because she's being blinded by the lights, and then you get the new type sparkly stuff starting to happen. Really well done in terms of how they're getting all these visuals to kind of work together to not only tell a story, but to take the story that's being told and tell it better, without having to add a bunch of fluff all over the screen, or machines moving so quickly you can't tell who's fighting who, or any of that kind of stuff. You can tell what's going on, and it's enjoyable action. They are using the visual storytelling of the medium in order to tell a story through two robots wailing on each other. And that's all I ask of my Gundam. So yes, I clearly enjoyed the aesthetics of the show, especially the visuals. So let's get in to the final verdict. Overall, this was a great episode. We got a good fight, we got character building, and we got world building. Yay! It's nice to know that the staff behind this is putting the effort into really creating a believable world within the Gundam universe, while also giving us a personal story about a character who's kind of unsure about her position in the world, and is now being drawn into these over-the-top giant robot fights. Meanwhile, sprinkling a little bit of political intrigue and military stuff as well. That's why my final verdict for episode 3 is 4 out of 5. We get some wonderful visuals and a great story. And to be honest, this is one of the most enjoyable things I've watched in a while. At this point, I generally recommend the show, though it could still go bad, but I'm feeling very positive about it. There are some minor weaknesses still. The characters just still feel underdeveloped, and there's still plenty of characters I don't even know the names of. In addition to that, the music can be a very bland for the most part, and that weird sound effect thing in the underpass sequence was really annoying, to a point that I thought there may have been a glitch of my stream or something like that. But those minor gripes aside, this was a great episode, and I'm really looking forward to the next one. I have plenty of questions about where the story's going to go, and about wanting to know more about the characters. And frankly, that's what you want. You want to finish an episode and go, I need to see the next one! And it's really great to have that feeling again. I haven't had that in so long. But that's just my opinion. What did you think of the episode? Do you like it? Do you hate it? What do you think of the characters? When I finished watching this, I actually joked to myself, depending on who I was with in terms of my friends group or whatever girl I was dating, I could see them saying, we're going to go as this character and this character. I'm not saying I won't cosplay from the show in the future, but I won't cosplay from the show until after I've seen the end of it, because the last thing I want to do is put the money into a cosplay and then find out I hate the show. Because then that cosplay just mocks me forever. Until next time, thank you for watching. I have a few other Gundam videos on my channel, and soon enough, I will be hopefully doing some more Gundam content outside of G-Quuuuux. But until that time happens, please have a wonderful week, and I'll see you at the tavern.